I'm Traci.
And I'm Leena.
And we love healing children.
In fact, we're the co-owners and founders of Healing Children, LLC.
And this is our podcast, The Bumpy Road to Healing, where we get real about what children need emotionally.
And how best to support them.
We skip the fluff.
And get right to the heart of it. So today we're going to talk about when we're providing accountability and a consequence, what does our physical presence need to look like? So one of the things we talk about in our trainings is, let's say you're pulled over by a policeman, which, for speeding, which, many of us have had that experience.
Yes.
Some more than others.
Right.
But if the policeman comes to your door and he is kind of yelling at you and putting you down for speeding, why would you speed? Why are you driving like that? What is your response?
Yeah.
To him?
Yeah.
And typically what I hear is people saying, well, I think that person's a jerk and screw him and I didn't do anything wrong. But if the policeman comes to your door and it has like, sorry, usually for me, it's ma'am, sorry, ma'am. You were going 5 minutes over the speed limit. And it's like very kind and compassionate as he gives you the ticket. What is your response?
Yeah. You're more likely to take responsibility for what you did.
And be like, oh crap, I screwed up, because you don't have this other person to blame.
Right.
Because they were nice as they gave you the consequence.
Yeah.
So what we want to talk about is, what does it look like when we're emotional giving a consequence? And where do we need to be emotionally when we're giving the consequence to make it more likely that the child will internalize the information and internalize the consequence so they can make the necessary behavior change?
So I think there's a couple things to really keep in mind when we're looking at emotional versus non-emotional. Number one, when we're really emotional and we're giving a consequence, generally that consequence is going to end up being more punitive. And we're using the relationship, or we're using our relationship with that student and like taking that relationship away. So we might be using shaming as part of the consequence. And that can be really damaging for children with severe behavior and emotional issues. And so it's keeping that in mind. And so it's looking at, what does it look like when someone's overly you gave a great example, like being rude, yelling at us, lecturing us is an emotional way to set a consequence. Threats, I've seen adults do that before.
I think, even as a parent, you're just so frustrated or so tired. That instead of really thinking it through, you're coming at it from like just anger and yelling and screaming and trying to force them to do what you tell them to do. Right. Or you're so upset, you think, well, if I just add this punitive, if I just add this consequence or this consequence or this consequence, eventually they're going to listen.
And they're going to learn.
And they're going to learn and they're going to figure out.
And it's going to be better. And I'm not going to be so mad anymore.
And I took everything away from them and they're still not doing it. So what can we do next? Right?
What's the next thing? And so what we've really learned is the best thing is us really staying in that Zen place as much as possible.
Because we want them to internalize. And what happens too much when we come at them with anger, or, we're coming at them with anger, instead of them thinking about their behavior and what needs to change, they're thinking about you and your behavior, and you're such a jerk and I've done nothing wrong. And how dare you treat me this way? That the consequences completely got lost. And all of us get there. It doesn't matter what profession you're in. We all get to that point. Sometimes.
We do. Well, and a lot of it is we are owning that behavior when we do that.
And I want to say, for the most part, police officers have been very kind and respectful, because I don't want to get into this, because I know right now we have, a lot of political stuff with police officers, but the police officers that have pulled me over, because I get pulled over quite often, are very kind and very respectful.
In fact, they probably should give you a ticket more.
They probably should give me more tickets. Yes.
They think you're all cute, nice and sweet, and they let you off the hook every time.
So anyway, I just want to make sure that caveat is in there.
Totally.
But we all do get from time to time. So what is it we want to look like emotionally and really feel like emotionally as we give consequences, to make sure that we give that child the opportunity to internalize?
Because bottom line, when you're working with kids with severe behavior and emotional issues, they kind of know how to push the buttons, right? And they may know your buttons better than you do. And so it can be fun for some students to kind of be rude and disrespectful and watch you kind of flip out.
Yeah.
And we don't want to give them that.
Yes.
If that's what they're going for. And we never really know. We never really know if a student is trying to push our buttons or not. So we always want to stay really calm, because in our minds, we're thinking, this is not my problem. This is their problem and their opportunity to grow and mature.
Yes.
My job is just to hold them accountable.
Yep.
That's all I got to do.
Yes.
And the calmer I am, the more likely they are going to learn from this experience.
Exactly.
So we have not talked a lot about polyvagal theory.
No, we haven't.
We're in the process of learning about it quite a bit as ourselves as mental health professionals. The polyvagal theory is really talking about our mind, our heart, and our gut.
It's our nervous system, and it was created by Stephen Porges. So if you want to learn more, he's kind of the leading therapist. He's not a therapist. He's more research on it. And therapists have looked at this and realized that this is really important for therapy and counseling.
Yeah, well, because we are co-regulating together.
So maybe we need to explain what co-regulating means.
Well, what I think it means is, to me, when I'm thinking about co-regulating, I'm thinking like, I'm kind of reading you, and you're kind of reading me.
Yes.
And we're trying to figure out if we're safe people. And if you're safe, then I can relax more.
Yes. So we're reading each other's nervous systems, and it's happening at an unconscious level. Our bodies and brains are doing that and being able to read it. So if you think about, maybe you're around somebody who's upset and agitated, you often start to feel upset and agitated. So they just have a body language, or sometimes you don't even know what the body language is, but your body feels it. So co-regulating, if maybe I'm upset, but you're able to maintain calmness, then a lot of times that helps my body calm down as well too. And so babies do that a lot with their mothers. That's why they often talk with new mothers about learning how to be calm and relax, because then their baby's calm and relax, because they're co-regulating with each other. And
so I think there's a lot to be learned with this, but how I look at it is, it's really important to understand us remaining calm is sending that message to the child. I think it also sends a message, I believe in you, and I'm not going to get sucked into your problems.
And I believe you can figure this out.
I believe, and I'm still going to hold you to it.
Yep. And then they see that calmness. They can't be mad at you.
Right.
It makes them more likely they're going to be upset with them and make those changes. But then they're also, again, the messages we send non-verbally are often so much more powerful than any message we send verbally.
Yeah.
And so
it's keeping yourself calm and relaxed.
Yes. So do you want to share one strategy
that I have learned from a lot of, two professional development classes from very experienced traumatologists, is that we need to keep our pelvic floor relaxed.
So what does that mean?
Well, I kind of feel like it says it itself, but what it means is you're not tight and tense, right? We're not tight and tense. If we're tight and tense, we're not calm. We're not using our calming response. So you kind of need to notice, like when I'm disciplining a kid, and I even kind of take note, like, ooh, I'm feeling tight and tense. I need to relax and tell myself they're going to figure this out. And sometimes we don't know how, because sometimes kids will do things to us in the middle of the lesson, and it's like, ooh, what am I going to do with that one? You know, or how am I going to deal with this issue? Sometimes we don't always know. And then we're like tight, stressed, and then we have more of an emotional response. And what we want to do is relax and tell ourselves that we will get it figured out.
Yes. And so by forcing sometimes we can think our way into calming our body. Sometimes we can force our body to calm, which changes some of our thinking. Right. So it all works together.
And what it really is being aware.
Yeah.
It's being aware. It's also being aware of, what are my buttons? Like, what do kids do that kind of set me off? And we're definitely all more likely to get set off when we're too tired and we're too stressed. So it's always kind of looking at, when I get more rest, I can manage my life and my students a lot better, or my children a lot better. So it's making sure you're getting the rest you need. And then it's really noticing, am I tight and tense?
Yes. And how do I relax that? And if you're struggling with that, we always recommend, that's not the time to do the discipline part.
Right.
You can always, Love and Logic has a strategy. It's called the delayed consequence, where you can just say, we're gonna have to do something about it, but let's wait.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be putting a consequence in place that you don't want to follow through on, or you feel bad about later.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
And so, because we are human, and sometimes we are emotionally upset. And so you really want to wait to give the consequence when you are in a calm state of mind. Maybe you've had an opportunity to talk to somebody else, get yourself calm, figure out the best way to handle or manage this, or just be calm and follow through with what you would typically follow through with.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Okay. And so if you want to learn more, again, we have lots of classes. We have our book, Healing Discipline, Bringing Hope to Shattered Lives. And we have our teachable online courses. We have live courses, blogs, podcasts.
You name it. If you like what you're hearing and you want to learn more, you can go to our website at www.healingchildrenllc.org.
On our website, you can read more about who we are.
You can look at our online trainings.
You can also look at our blogs on a variety of topics.
You can see our most new and up-to-date podcasts.
You can also engage with us in a variety of ways,
such as liking us or following us on social media.
You can even hire us to come in.
Or you could email us or call us.
Exactly. Make sure that you sign up for our email list so that you can get the latest information about what we have to offer, including live trainings in your area.
Yes, so let the healing begin.
Thank you for joining our podcast, The Bumpy Road to Healing.
The Bumpy Road to Healing is sponsored by Healing Children, LLC. We are both educators and mental health professionals, which gives us a unique perspective on working with children both in and out of the school setting who have severe emotional and behavioral concerns.
Our mission is for all children to be emotionally healthy, happy, mature, and responsible. As adults establish healthy relationships and appropriate boundaries, we believe that children are more likely to grow and prosper.
When adults understand the impact of trauma, entitlement, disruptive attachment, and child development, including conscious development, they can better create healing environments for children.
To learn more about us and what we have to offer, go to www.healingchildrenllc.org.